What is up, folks at home? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to dive underwater for an in-depth review of the Zoom Super Fluke and baits that are like it, nose hooked versus Texas rig. So we're going to talk ultimate fluke rigging today. Lots of underwater, lots of fish catches. It's going to be a fun one. Let's dive on in. Let's go! Another monster! Here we go! So when we're talking about flukes and fluke style baits, there are essentially three ways to rig it. I prefer to rig things nose hooked. You can also rig them Texas rigged, but let's talk about the advantages of each, and then we'll talk about the third way that you can rig up a fluke. So number one, you want a fluke to be erratic, and you want it to elicit a reaction strike from bass. Here we have the 4.5-inch rattle worm, and I have it nose rigged. And when I nose hook something, I'm always running a number one or number two VMC finesse Nico hook. It's the best hook that I've ever fished for this specific pattern. Nose hooking something means you want ultimate action and you want a neutral fall. When you nose hook something, you're giving it a lot of reactive force on the twitch, as opposed to a Texas rig, which is going to make that bait fall a little bit deeper in the water column, have a little bit more of a slower, erratic jerk, but the fall is going to be quicker. So it depends on what the fish want that day. A lot of people, nose hook and Texas rig based on cover. I based on fall rate, and fall rate is super important. Here you've got that Zoom Super Fluke on a nose hook. Things are just going to fall slower on the nose hook and be in the fish's face longer. And the advantage to that is it looks far more natural on the fall, and it has kind of that slow meandering fall. As you can see here, when you upsize to that 4/0 extra wide gap hook, it's going to fall faster and it's going to fall less erratic, but it's going to move through the water column faster. So if fish are shallow or really in a neutral mood, I'm going to nose hook that fluke 98% of the time. When I'm not nose hooking, it's because the fish are deeper in the column or I'm targeting bigger fish further down. Let's say that fish are spawning and I want to get that bait underneath the big, the little young of the year bass that are blowing up on those minnows, and I want to get it down to the bigger fish. I'm going to Texas rig it simply because it's going to fall a little bit faster and get deeper. And you can see the fall is less erratic here, and it's more of a straight shot down to the bottom on that regular rigged fluke. It also comes through really heavy cover better, or slop or anything like that. That Texas rigged bait's going to come through slightly better. The nose hook just falls slower. So if fish are in potholes or deeper, that Texas rigged fluke is going to get the call. Fluke is one of my favorite baits. It's a bait that I fish every time that I'm on the water. It's a great indicator bite. It's a great way to get bit on different waters. You can also nose hook worms and you can fish them a lot like a fluke. So here's that 4-inch flatworm by Bait Cave Customs, and I've started fishing this nose hooked. One, it's a drop shot bait, but you can fish it weightless nose hooked and get a lot of that erratic action that you can out of a fluke, and it's similar to a fluke in its action. The thing that I like about this is it's very slow falling, it's a very in your face technique, and it allows you to fish a bait in a different way. So nose hooking, you can do a lot of different things with a lot of different lures. Now, it slows that fall down agonizingly, so you're not going to want to fish it in deep water weightless. But what I can tell you is when fish are up shallow, nose hooking a bait is a classic way to get bit when nothing else will work. If I want that bait to fall a little bit deeper in the column, I want it to get down there into the tops of that grass, I'm going to Texas rig that bait. You can see this 4-inch flatworm has that Senko style quiver on the way down, and that can be a deadly thing when fish are holding closer to the bottom. So it really depends on the mood of the fish and the rate of fall that I'm trying to achieve. If the fish are bottom oriented, I want to Texas rig it with that extra wide gap hook. I want it to fall to the bottom slightly faster. If those fish are really up shallow, really up in the column, I'm going to nose hook that bait. That's 90% of what I am doing. with a fluke style bait or a worm. And as you can see here, it's very effective underwater, but it is a different presentation. These aren't slowed down or altered at all. This is just the way that these baits fall on that rig. Understanding your rate of fall is going to up your catch rate and up the size of fish that you are catching. And it's something that a lot of anglers overlook. Now, nose hooking a bigger worm also will get you bites, but a lot of people are like, you're gonna miss fish, you're gonna do this or that. Fish will inhale that bait and that bait collapses down onto that hook. I miss very few fish on a nose hook simply because they hit the head of the bait. Here is a 7-inch finesse worm. That bait is going to be totally gone in that fish's mouth when you catch it. And I know this because I've done it for years. And it's something that I do a lot, and it's not something that I've wanted to give up to other anglers because of the success that I have nose hooking a lot of different baits. That comes from fishing a drop shot a lot. That comes from fishing that nose hook style a lot. It's something that I really enjoy doing, and I do it frequently when I'm on the water. It's also low rent. Worms are cheap and hooks are cheap, and you can catch a lot of fish doing it. I will only fish that Texas rig really when I want the bait to go deeper, or I'm fishing 8 foot of water or more, but I still want a weightless presentation. I'll go to that Texas rig because you can see it's got a nice shiver and a fall, but it falls faster and it is a different presentation. It's not one and the same with the Texas rig versus the nose hook. They do different things well. And you have to be aware of kind of what you're looking for. Are you hitting spots where you want that bait to fall vertically? Are you fishing horizontally where you want fish to chase that? Do I need bottom contact to be successful? Do I not? All of those questions kind of go through my mind when I'm fishing these baits, Texas rigged versus nose hooked. It's a way to present your bait that is different with the same bait. It gets you 2 different outcomes, so keep that in mind when you're fishing. But now we got to talk about the third way that I like to fish these fluke style baits. The third way I love to fish a fluke is the Upgrade hover hook by Ebb & Flow. And the hover hook comes in 2 sizes. You have a 1/16 ounce hook, and then you have a 3 by 32nd hook. And what these are built to do is really pin that bait to that hook. It's got a 60-degree bend on it, but what it does is it gets that bait deeper in the water. Say you've caught a lot of fish in that shallow, you've got a deeper pocket, you need to target those fish deeper, then the Upgrade hover is the hook that you want. The second thing that it does well is it really does a good job preserving your bait and giving you castability on windy days when the unweighted version just doesn't cast as well, or you have to get really far out there to schooling fish. It really does a great job being castable, pinning those baits on there and generating bites when a lot of other things won't. There we go. Better one. The better one seemed to be lower in the water column, so I put this on the Upgrade hover here. Got it down in the water column a bit. Better fish. Let's go. That's 2 in the box. Another. Three. They want it a little bit deeper now. Four. They're right in the middle of the channel now. Sun's went in a little bit. We're still cracking them. Pinned. That hover hook. So guys, hope you enjoyed the 3 different ways to hook those straight-tailed fluke style baits. You have the nose hook rig, which I really enjoy when fish are up shallow, when you are chasing a finicky bite. You have the straight up Texas rigged version, which can allow you to fish a lot of different cover options and variations. It allows you to get that bait a little bit deeper. And then up number 3, you have that hover rig option, which really allows you to do different things and present that bait in a different way. Fluke is one of my favorite baits. It's on my deck 24/7, 365, no matter where I am, because it is such a good way to get bites. and I'm all about getting as many bites as I can and maximizing my day on the water by catching as many fish I can and working through those fish. So fluke is a great way to do it, nose hook is a great way to do it, Texas rig is a great way to do it, hover rig is a great way to do it. Diversify what you're doing, change things up to see if it can get you more or better bites. Thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. Shout out to Vantage Tackle for sponsoring these videos. Check them out on their links. They're an amazing company. Help support them. They help support anglers like you and me. Thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. We will see you next time.